All right. Thanks, Jaykob and Leroy. I just want to ask you a few questions about project-based learning because obviously it's a new way of doing things. So when you first, I know you've done, this is the second topic that you've done. This time you're combining both English and science. So how did you begin, say for example, with the science project? What was the first thing that the teacher did?
Basically, they just give us a rundown on what we're doing, like for the term, give us like a theme and like different things, steps along the way that we'll be like completing, and then we just go from there, get in our groups and work out our different roles, and yeah.
Okay, so how do you work out your different roles? How does the teacher, what does that mean exactly?
Well, we so far have just been like choosing it off what skills people in our group have, like if someone's a good speaker or someone's a good drawer, just using that to our advantage. Yeah.
Right. So So how did you? Apparently that you all had to decide on a similar topic that you were interested in.
Yeah.
And so really, you're working with people that you normally wouldn't work with. Is that right?
Yeah. For that, we just filled out a survey, and we didn't talk to each other about it or discuss it or anything, and we just ticked down what interested us most, and then we got in groups with people that shared like the same common interests. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So so when you Mr. Woodland said to me that they definitely have to do a what you need to know and what you know. Is that right? It's what
you need to know and what you already know.
What you already know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What you already know. So how does that work? What do you do when you do that, Jaykob?
Well, for ours, Mr. Woodland already had because we're using Microsoft 365 online program, and he had a little table set up for us already as a template with what we needed to know in one column and what we already knew, and we filled through what we already knew. So for instance, my group's doing plastic, filled out what we already knew about plastic and then what we needed to know, because at the start they basically give us a theme and the goal that we need to achieve at the end. So we then worked out what we need to know to fulfill the goal, and we just put that down and then got to finding out answers and learning about it.
Right. So what's your team doing? Tell me about your project.
Yeah, we're doing plastic and kind of like more marine life and around how it affects our oceans. We're thinking for our presentation, we're possibly going to have, because we were thinking, instead of making the people feel sympathy and then making them feel bad about themselves, make them feel the sympathy and then show them a way of what they can do to help, and because it gets people motivated. So we're doing plastics and we're going to have visual representations of the differences between marine life, like with plastic compared to if it was humans. And then we're going to have, we didn't know this, but we learnt it through our researching, that plastics all have codes on the bottom, and code 1 right through to code 7. So we'll have examples of the codes, different codes, and which ones are the best to use, which ones to recycle and which ones to avoid. And then after that, we're going to have alternatives to plastic, so what you could use instead of plastics. So for instance, you could use an aluminium drink bottle instead of a plastic one. And then at the end, like, we'll have a brochure on how people can help, and it'll really just be going back over with like the codes and the alternatives, like, so there's people are using less plastic.
Right. So tell me, I think the topic began, which was called The Elephant in the Room.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? What was that about?
It's basically just discussing ideas that people in the community and society don't generally want to talk about, like things that might not be obvious knowledge to everybody, just getting them out there in the open, and how people can help change issues that are not really as well known as they should be.
Or discussed.
Yeah, well, that's like the plastic issue. Everyone knows plastic's an issue, but there's not too many people going to a great effort to stop or help reduce plastic waste.
Yeah. So my next question is, I know that when you're, so you've come up with your idea. So you're at a point now where, did you have to, what we call tune your idea? So tell me about that process.
There's a process we do called Critical Friends, where there's 2 different ones that we've done so far, but Critical Friends is the main one that we do, where 2 groups pair up with each other, and you'll go through and you discuss your ideas, what you think like you'll be doing if you're not 100% sure, and why you believe, like how do you think this will help, or what do you think the achievement will do. And then do you use the question? It's not about the question I wonder. No, that's a different one. That was another activity that we have done. But with Critical Friends we go through and then they'll critique our idea and say what they like about it, what they think we could change, and like any other ideas possibly for us, and we will do that with like a couple of different groups. Or there's another one that another activity like Critical Friends, and we paired up with 1 person out of each group, and there's 4 people in each group, so we got 4 different people from different groups, and we did kind of like Critical Friends said what we're planning on doing, what we're thinking of doing, what we know on that, and then they'd ask us the questions. I'll say I like this idea, but I wonder if this could work better, or I wonder if you replace this with that, would that be a better idea? And then there's a stage of where you turn around and don't face the group, and they kind of pretend you're not there, and they say to each other, I like his idea, but I think he should emphasise more on this idea, and stuff like that. And they do that for a couple of minutes, and you're not allowed to say anything. So then when you turn around, you come back into the group and you say, your idea of me emphasising this more was good, but the reason we haven't done this was because we're putting more of our resources into this idea as affect and our final product more. Yeah.
So it kind of gives you some good ideas, but at the same token you can respond back with, well, we've decided that because of, so you clarify your ideas.
And straight away, you're not like a ladder straight away go, oh, this is why I'm not doing it. You've got to go through and think, and you're not allowed to say anything because you got your back turned. So
that's right. I know. That's a really good process. Okay, I'm going to just turn that off now. That's good.